Have you ever left a leadership meeting thinking a decision was perfectly clear and then watched people move in three completely different directions? One team starts right away, one waits, one does something kind of close, but not quite what was agreed upon. And then when asked, everybody says that they understood the decision. And here's how it plays out. A manager asks one executive from the meeting what the decision means. They get one answer. They ask another executive and get a different answer. So they cautiously wait. They watch because they don't want to do the wrong thing. Most leaders call this an execution problem, but the problem started much earlier when the executive team stopped carrying the decision in an aligned way after the meeting ended. And so that is what this episode is about. So the decision layer is not about making decisions. It's about what happens to the decision after the meeting. Does it stay in one piece as it moves through the organization, or does it start changing shape? Think back to when we were younger and we used to play the telephone game. One message starts clear. By the time it reaches the people at the end who have to act on it, it may be a very different version of the same message. So people soften it. They may add careful aspects. They may leave some stuff out. And some may never were fully behind the message to begin with, and they interpreted it. So the people at the end then have to guess which version of the message is real. So the organization does not experience the actual decision that was made in the meeting. It experiences the decision as each executive carries it afterwards. And so these are often very different things. So what does this look like in real life? An executive team makes a big decision. It could be staffing, budget, patient flow, a service change. They talk it through, and by the end of the meeting, it feels crystal clear. Then everyone goes back to their own area. One executive talks about it very clearly and expects action. One talks about it carefully, almost like it might still change, and one says very little, kind of waiting to see what happens first. So then, as a result, the managers below them are now hearing three different versions. One hears, let's go, let's move. The other one hears, slow down. And the other one hears almost nothing and is left filling in the blanks themselves. And then here's what happens. The blame goes downward. Managers are not executing. Teams seem resistant. Communication is poor. But one decision became several versions, and that's where it all started. So why does this happen? Why do smart leaders agree in a meeting and then carry the same decision differently? It's because agreement is not the same as alignment. One leader pushes forwards, one carefully softens the edges, one holds back, maybe has conflict avoidance, one still has doubts that they never fully expressed. And these differences show up the moment the meeting ends. And of course, when pressure hits, the questions, the stress, the resistance, the tension, even a clear leader starts to shift. They become maybe more cautious, less certain, and less direct. And people notice that right away. Sometimes a team looks aligned in the meeting because no one openly disagreed, but someone left that room with doubts. And those doubts show up later in their tone, in their timing, and in their hesitation. So here's what the organization learns. When this keeps happening, people do learn from it. They learn, wait for another signal. Let's see what the other leader says. Don't commit too early because this might change. And so what this is pattern recognition. They're learning from experience. And the middle layer feels this the most. Managers and directors are stuck answering questions without clear answers, dealing with confusion that they did not even create, and often getting blamed for poor execution when they were given mixed directions from the start. And then guess where it shows up? It shows up in the numbers. Projects slow down, work gets repeated, people work hard, but just not in one aligned direction. So by the time the numbers show the problem, it has started much earlier upstream. So what do leaders need to ask instead? When execution breaks down, ask, did the decision we make stay in one piece after the meeting? Did each executive carry it in the same aligned way? Did the people below them hear one message or several versions? Did concerns get fully brought up while everyone was still in the meeting? Did the decision hold once the pressure and stress of real life showed up? So these questions shift the focus. You'll then stop putting the whole problem on the people below. You start looking at where the split actually began. And that is the decision layer. That is where alignment either holds or it runs out. And when it runs out at the top, the whole organization feels it. In the next episode, I'll be talking about the performance layer. And that is where this whole series, this whole cascade comes together. We're going to look at the numbers that leaders track every day and say, what are these numbers really showing us? The dashboard shows the outcomes, but it does not show the cause. So this episode covered the decision layer, which is second from the bottom in the Leadership Performance Cascade. It sits just above the performance layer. If something to you in this episode felt like an aha moment or felt really familiar, the Executive Leadership Briefing gives you a 15-minute overview of the full framework, and I'll put the link in the description for you. And if you know of a senior leader who would benefit from this, be sure to share it with them. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.